once again, since we don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah, why don't we just set them both?
I think that's a good play. So 25.83 will be the top side. And everybody needs to keep in mind, getting both isn't necessarily bad, you know, as long as you are doing share increments that you can tolerate. You know, say tomorrow we get a little quick pop up, you get that 25.83 fill, then the next couple of days we cycle down. Well, if you're in 100, great. Then you get 100 at 24.20, also great for a nice average cost. Risk is clearly identifiable. So don't think that you have to get everything in one pop.
Yeah, we used to call that get it on the radar. Some tester shares, get that on the radar with like one fifth, 1/4 position. It's on the radar. Now you're paying very close attention to it and all the price levels.
Right. So 25.83. Okay. So we've got that bracketed.
Okay, we got that one bracketed.
24.20 and 25.83. Perfect. Okay. Now let's talk about blue.
Blue. Well, once again, our metrics on blue here for the short float, just so we can see what we're working with, is hang on a second.
42.23%. It looks like.
Thank you. I've got too many windows open. 42 and on a 36 million float, not too bad. So good enough. And this is the action that I like. Remember what the Dow was doing earlier, guys? And I said we're going higher. You know, that's kind of what it does. It runs up to a level and just slams into it. It doesn't pull back in price so much as it does just goes sideways and works off the energy in time, working it off in time rather than price. And those are the ones I prefer, the ones that go sideways for a little while, and then once they break back up, you know, that's just your average chart. Nothing really special about it, but when you throw in the fact that you know it's got a giant short float on not a huge short on float to begin with, that gives you extra confidence that there could be some follow-through if everything else lines up correctly.
Yep, nothing like a little gasoline on your fire. Okay, so we've got that one set as well. 64.86, just above the top there. All right, so we got Zoe, we got blue. How about a banking stock? We always got to throw a banking stock in there.
And again, this one is, let me go to my, oops, so I just want to get the metrics so we all understand what we're looking at here. Short float of just roughly 38%, and float of 59 million, kind of medium size. But here's the deal, and I see somebody's questions regarding the Squeeze Me link that I sent out on Twitter last night, helped a few people out. This was located on that particular alert because what I did was I set up Squeeze Me to say, all right, I know there's a lot of stocks out there with 20, 30, 40% short the float, but what if I only want to see the ones that are, you know, a few points away from making a 52-week high? That's not something that a short seller would be proud to hold. And this is exactly what's going on in Bank of Internet here. So we had a really nice move off the general market last week. We threw in a resistance level, pulled back, gave it a few days of pullback. Now we're just going to mark up those highs again. If we go back through, like I said, this chart on its own merits, it's okay. It's nice pullback, higher low, push through new highs. But when you start to know in the back of your mind that this thing has a giant short float contingency, it just gives you a little bit more confidence and a little bit more staying power to try and stick with these trades, because you never know. It could be the next CWEI or the next X or the next AKS. You know, those steel stocks were incredibly short-loaded, and they've been working off their short float for a long time now. So I don't know if you already did mark that one up.
Well, do you want to use the tops of these guys right here?
No, I want to use, that would be a head start. I think let's just find a new all-time high. Let's not mess around. Let's just look at the all-time high.
25.14.
That sounds good to me.
25.14 long TCL.
38% short.
38%. All right, so we got the BOFI working as well. Now moving on to Chef's Warehouse.
Yes, if you zoom out, it's another one of these trend change lubricant factor stocks. Chef, let's type in, let's get my data. Short float is 19% on a float of 20 million. So 20 million, 20 million float and 20 million or 20% short, basically. A nice looking chart, creeping higher, building higher lows. Once again, it's up to us. This alert is not just going to tell us what and when to buy. This is coming from a top list, and this top list is surveyed throughout the day to try and catch some settings that look interesting. Now, on this particular one, we've got a choice to make. Do we want to get kind of an early look above the congestion of the last few days, or do we want to wait for the top of that red candle back there? In this case, I'm saying let's get a early head start since it's a trend change lubricant. If it breaks through that first orange line, I have a pretty good feeling it's going to want to challenge that second line.
Agreed.
So there again is a stock that's kind of moving sideways 3 or 4 days underneath a resistance level, and that resistance level is the one that we're going to mark up for the price alerts, and then of course give ourselves notes. So when it pops up, we know how much float is short, and we know exactly what it is we're staring at to try and really make it as easy and quick and efficient as possible. All right.
One more to go here. We got AKAM as the last one.
Yeah. Now, this one looked much more interesting yesterday. It kind of bled off today with the market, but here's another opportunity where we might be able to bracket a trade. We had 6 days of real narrow range trading. So you take the high of whichever one of those is and put an alert above that. This one is not so much a short squeeze. It's not really a short component in Akamai. It's just something that caught my eye. It's got 6.9% short, but I know how much Jamie loves narrow ranges and how they can resolve themselves at some point. We just got to stay one step ahead of these narrow ranges and mark them up.
All right, so we'll go 67.11 with this one. We just want to leave it on the upside, or do we want to bother with a little bracket or not?
That one's such a bullish chart. I don't even think I'd try and short it.
Yeah, agreed.
So,
agreed. All right, well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one with a bracket. So there we go. So let me just take the opportunity to share. And where did my chat go? There it is. Okay. All right, so for those of you with the price alerts, there's your cloud link. Enjoy. And wow, I just looked at the clock, Steve. It's 5 till. So
when you're talking.
Yeah, I think I've bestowed all my informational nuggets. You got anything else to add, Steve?
No, the trade of the week will be tomorrow. If you want to pop up INVN real quick, somebody's asking me about this. This week, the INVN trade was a conditional trade. It did not trigger above the trigger point. And so, as I had mentioned, or we mentioned in the email, it may take a few days or even a week or so. Just be patient. There's no point in jumping into this thing too soon. Now, that's not to say if you're watching this thing closely here and it comes down to that lower level of that big wick exactly, down to that level, and you see buyers step in, and you want to maybe take a customized, more conservative entry with a better entry point than a breakout, because technically this was slated for a breakout trade. We kind of felt like there might be some pullback in the market today, so we wanted to make sure there actually was a breakout trigger on the trade of the week trade this week, just in case we had a couple of days of pullback. So that's the reason today's market action is the reason it didn't really go up to the trigger point. But as Jeff is pointing out, it's still a decent looking trend change lubricant chart. I mean, let's back this thing out. It looks like a lot of the other charts we are marking up today. You can almost make a head and shoulders inverted bottom there. So, one to keep your eye on, one not to lose touch of. The trade of the week can't always be a perfect give and go. But we want to keep these things on our radar. So if you have price alerts, I would maybe put a price alert down there for a pullback. Jeff, if you're interested in the way that chart looks and you like it, you might get a better price. But the trade of the week was to be safe this week and wait for a triggered breakout, which would probably confirm the fact that the market was going to continue and move higher. So that was the reason for the conditional. Great. Good. I'm glad I was able to answer that for you, Jeff. Okay, we'll talk more about that one tomorrow night, and I guess it's time to bring in Scott, who's, guys, if you haven't signed up yet, he's got a whopper of a promo code that's going to go away at midnight. So just keep that in mind.
It is Cyber Monday.
Yeah. Rather than offer you the the typical code for a office hours webinar. The cyber code, CYB, all caps, is good until midnight tonight East Coast time, and it's a lot bigger than the normal weekly codes we give out with our webinars, and this is going away at midnight, so go ahead and hop on this while it's still there. It's 25% off your first month or year of premium, or 20% off your first month or year of standard. So that stands to save you huge off of premium. But both standard and premium come with a full hour of one-on-one training, so go ahead and go to support and sign up for that as soon as you get an active Trade Ideas account. Although premium is where all the neat new features are at, the standard also includes all your exchange fees, that training I just mentioned. It includes the charting we just added last summer. But the premium has the AI, unlimited backtesting, shareable price alerts, and our advanced features and new windows. So do take advantage of that code, cyber, before midnight tonight. TradeIdeas.com/price is the right place to go for that, or you can just download the handout. There's a handout in the handouts panel. Click the plus sign next to that little area in your GoToWebinar interface that says handouts next to it, and there's a link right there for you. So if you have any questions about this or how to upgrade from standard, email us. info@trade-ideas.com is the best place to send your technical questions. But you can contact Steve or Jamie directly at their email addresses you see on the screen there. Or you can follow Steve Gomez at Today Trader or Jamie at QuantBot. Trade Ideas 1 is Dan Merkin on Twitter, or there's also Trade Ideas and some other ones as well. If you hunt into our Twitter accounts, we've got quite a few. Facebook.com/TradeIdeasPro is where to find us and like us on Facebook. We post some different content there sometimes. Or use the phone number during regular business hours on the West Coast for some assistance with billing or subscription questions. But if you do have a technical question for us, the best place to send that so it gets routed to the appropriate team member is the info@trade-ideas.com email. Thanks for attending today, and thanks Steve, Jamie, and Andy. And we will look for y'all in our later webinars this week. You should get a invite for the Trade of the Week webinar for tomorrow if you're on that list, as well as tomorrow afternoon after that one. There'll be invites going out for the QA webinar and our Thursday trading studio. So keep tuned all week, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. We're back on our regular schedule. Thanks, guys.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks a bunch, guys. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
Later.